Hello, all you beautiful beings out there. Welcome in. Welcome to my channel, Wing Spiritual Clarity. My name is Wendy Wing. I'm doing a psychic tarot reading for you, tuning in to the day's energy, seeing what divine messages of guidance come through. Alrighty. This is a general reading, so take what resonates and leave the rest. All right. Let's look at the overall energy of this reading. The Hierophant and the Six of Cups. The Hierophant, I'm getting as a teacher, as a guide. Wow, to your family. There's some lesson, a family lesson that's coming through. This feels like your family of origin, not a family that you've created, but your childhood. There's some lesson that's coming through around your childhood. It feels like you're connecting with your higher self to tap into the wisdom of this lesson. It feels like a lesson you wanted to explore as a soul. Wow. Wow. Okay. There's a lot trying to come out. Okay. It looks like a lot of you have had difficulties with relationships. Romantic relationships, maybe even just relationships, because of this family of origin. Oh, wow. Okay. What I'm perceiving here is that your family of origin did not allow for other perceptions. It feels like the family of origin that you were raised in is very traditional, some type of very, there's a structure, and everyone needs to stay in this structured way of being. So it feels like your parents, the society that you were raised in, there's already this structure that's set, belief systems. This is good. And to be a good person, you have to fit in and tick all the boxes of being good to fit in this structure, this way of being. It doesn't look like you fit into predefined ways of being. Feels like you're different. You stand out. Maybe the way you perceive things. Maybe you've got other skills, other talents, like talking to those who've passed, seeing things. There's something here about how you perceived your experience that didn't fit. You're not allowed to see those things. You're not allowed to be that way. You have to fit in this prescribed way of being, or you're bad, wrong. And so it looks like you feels like you tried to fit in. You tried to, wow, okay, well, I'm new to this planet. You're saying this is how to make things work, so I'm going to try to fit. I want to be a good person. Who doesn't want to be loved? And it feels like that's the way to get love. It's very conditional upon if you can fit into this society. Then you can survive, then you can be loved and cared for. It feels like it was very hard for you to fit in, and you had to give up parts of yourself to fit in to this rigid way of being. Okay. It looks like at some point this feels like in the past. First, it depends on where you are on your journey, but it feels like there was some grief, some loss, and you were judged harshly on this. And it feels like you are working as hard as you can to make it work, but it's just not, you were never meant to fit in. And I think it's been very upsetting to try to fit in, to try to get that okay so you can receive love, so you can receive care. So you might have just been working to be accepted, working to get others' approval, others' validation, that you're okay, that you're accepted. And it feels like this way of being has you working overtime to try to prove yourself. And it feels like you are surrounded by people who blame you, who are very critical of you. It feels like that's the unconscious agreement in this family structure, family of origin, is that someone's to blame. Who can we blame all of this on? Feels like whoever was most vulnerable couldn't fight back. And so it just becomes easy, an easy target. Someone, everyone can dismiss, everyone can empower themselves by putting you down. And there's some point in the past that I'm tuned into. It feels like you are so unhappy, feeling so rejected, and constantly being criticized, even though you're putting in all this work and effort. If this system of being was meant to work, you would have figured it out, because you put in so much effort to work to get to shift. I think what you're doing is trying to shift people's perspective of you, trying to get them to validate you, trying to get them to see you as worthy and valuable, so you could feel then finally worthy and valuable. There's something here about recognizing that this is a rigged system, constantly taking the shift. You're not allowed to validate yourself. You're not allowed to perceive yourself as good, because then they can't control you, family, whoever's around you. So they take advantage of your insecurities and work double time to try to get validation, to finally earn some type of respect. But it's the system's rigged. It is working. It is working that you are working twice as hard. They don't want to give you the validation or the approval, because that's what they're after, your labor. All right, what's hidden? What's hidden is a bunch came out. I know a lot of you like to see the cards. I'd love to eventually get, a setup with multiple angles so you can watch all this unfold as well. So, World reverse, Moon card, 7 of Pentacles, the Lovers reverse, 7 of Swords, the Chariot, 10 of Swords, 4 of Pentacles reverse. All right. Yeah, there's been, with the World reverse, a repeating cycle here. That you've been just keep repeating family of origin, being the scapegoat, being the one that has to prove themselves even though you're being criticized, so criticized, not able to show up as the full version of yourself because maybe there's like crazy or some type of way to keep you invalidate who you are, the honest fullness of who you are, to keep you in a limited perspective of yourself, to take the blame. And with the moon card, this is unconscious. A lot of things that have been hidden. Oh, the treatment of you, the terrible, terrible treatment, the permissions that these people gave themselves to treat you as less than, because of this kind of contract. It's a unconscious family agreement that you're the problem, that you don't fit in, and so if it weren't for you, everything would be fine. That kind of treatment of you. A lot of excuse for abuse, excuse for neglect, excuses for really deplorable treatment of you. For some of you, it's so much has been hidden, and you might have even felt crazy because they invalidate your reality. They invalidate what they've done to you. They invalidate your feelings, your emotions. So much has been hidden. Looks like you kept investing in this group, in this way of being, repeating patterns, maybe family of origin, and then repeating this in romantic relationships, maybe even in friendships. It played out in the workplace. It feels like this has been repeating the story, and you've been trying to figure out this wound, how to heal this, how to not have this repeat again. And it looks like how to not repeat this again is not choosing the same type of people, recognizing deceptive people, that they're lying, cheating, stealing, and they never meant, you were never going to convince them. You were never going to be able to find the right words, so they finally see you and validate you. It was working. Having you feel insecure and having to beg for crumbs, having you chase, having you work so hard to prove who you are. It was working. You perceiving it, you calling it out is a problem. And it looks like once you finally called a spade, recognize that this is lying, cheating, stealing, they're never going to own up. It's always your fault. It looks like you gave yourself permission to move on, move away from this energy. You're never going to get your fairness. And there's also this recognition that just how painful, a painful discard is what that feels like. It feels like, I get the feeling that you started speaking truth. And Ten of Swords again. You started speaking truths, and that does not work. It feels like whoever you were around when you gave yourself permission to speak truths on this cruelty that you were experiencing, then it feels like they doubled, tripled down to get you back in to. This is someone who really, blitzkrieg, lightning warfare, to get you to stop telling the truth. They needed everyone to stop investing in you because you started seeing things truthfully. You were no longer confused. Okay. So what I'm perceiving here is it feels like you've taken your power back. And that was very inconvenient for people who have benefited off of your labor, off of your ignorance of this, of what's happening. Wow. 5 of Swords, Devil, 9 of Swords, reverse. Yeah. You were an easy mark. You were easy to manipulate. You were easy to bully. You would submit. They could confuse you. They could say something and get you to stop. Stop trying. Stop having your perception. Stop having your perspective. You called a spade, said this is toxic energy. I don't want to be a part of this. It looks like with the 9 of Swords reversed that you had to face a lot of fears, addiction, facing everything that you've been taught to believe about yourself. That takes so much bravery to face your fears, get out of this comfort zone, out of this story, and face your fears. Go towards what you fear. Oh, this feels so empowering. Love this. All right, in the outcome and advice, we have the Ace of Cups in reverse. A little birdie just came on the bird feeder. It's a little house finch, a female house finch. Oh, that's so lovely. Okay. Ace of Cups in reverse. I think in your lifetime, people have told you this is love. Ace of Cups reverse. Giving from an empty cup. You need to prove yourself. There's something inherently wrong with you. And so because there's something wrong with you and you don't fit in, you're going to have to work twice as hard to win my approval. This is very conditional. So it even feels like someone could have said, this is unconditional love. I am loving you. But it's not love. That's not love at all. Love is not having to prove your worth and value. Love is not making someone feel less than. Love is not a power play. Love is not taking advantage of people who aren't as capable, who are unable to perceive because of maybe their youth and the abuse. Feels like there's been a lot of manipulation, taking advantage of you. Wow. Okay. Oh. You're stepping out of 9 of Pentacles. Empress. Feels like you are ending an independence and stepping into your divine feminine. You're healing this mother wound where others have preyed on you and created codependency and dependency within you, feeling like you're not enough, that you have to work to be worthy of love and care, where you've always been. Always. Every moment of your existence, you've always been worthy. You've always been valuable. You've always been loved and beloved. But it feels like there's a family patterning here of taking people's power away, and a lot of cruelty. But it looks like you've healed that mother wound, healed your divine feminine. You're no longer you're no longer seeing something and saying, oh, that's love, and it's not. It feels like you recognize what is love and loving and aren't dupable. You know your value and worth. Okay, so it looks like, oh, a lot of you now, it feels like, all right, now that I've healed this wound, I'm telling a new story. Now I know I'm lovable. Now I know I'm loved. I'm already there. I've always been there. I love myself. I care for myself. It looks like you're now interested in relationships, not just romantic, but friendships. What now? What must relationships look like now that I'm not chasing and feeling less than and feeling inadequate and insecure in relationships? What now? Going forward, it feels like you're going to be exploring this a lot of your life. With the Ten of Pentacles, it feels like that's part of your legacy, is healing this generational trauma. It feels like you've healed so much, and it feels like you've got that, even if you'd never talk about this with others, you have that healed divine feminine energy in your space. It feels like you show up in a very empowered way. Yeah, there's something about you, some energy that you're giving off that's very different. It feels like you might have walked through the world being kind of more vulnerable, not knowing how to stand up for yourself, not knowing what has been going on, and now you're telling a different story. You've healed that. You've taken the kick me sign off your back. You know how to stand up for yourself. Wow. All right, that's your reading. I hope that's helpful. Take care.